What's cracking, everyone? My name is Ryan, and today I want to talk to you guys about a topic that is very important to me. Now, I consider myself an audio enthusiast, an audiophile, an audio connoisseur, an audio aficionado, okay, you get it. I like audio. Well, in this hobby, we love to discuss things like frequency response, sound signatures, things that are warm, neutral, maybe they're sibilant, boomy, bloated, mid-forward, and of course, we love to adore and analyze those squiggly lines. Am I right? Well, I'm here to tell you, see what I did there? None of that really matters if you don't protect your God-given tools. And yes, I am talking about our ears, the most important canal on our body. That's gross. Anyway, today I wanted to take a few minutes of your time to discuss some things that you can do to help you hear these things that we discuss perhaps a little bit better or even a little bit longer into your life. Now, I'm no audiologist, but there are some things that I've picked up over my time as a human that I think I can pass on some knowledge to all of you. And I would say the first place to start is to honestly see an audiologist. But if you can't do that, there are some things that you can even do right now at home, and that's what I want to talk to you about first. So if you happen to Google hearing health or even safe listening levels at home, you may come across a site called hearinghealthfoundation.org. This is a great site that has a graph that will show you some safe decibel levels that you can listen to for long periods of time without damaging your hearing. And then it will also show you above that threshold on how long you can hear things and possibly damage your hearing. And I'm going to link anything that I talk about down below so you guys can check this out for yourselves. So I think the first thing that you're going to notice is listening to anything 70 dB or below is what is considered to be safe listening levels. And to give you an idea, things like, an office environment, that type of noise, background music that's playing, or even just an average room noise, think about a fan going or something like that, is considered to be our safe listening levels. So then stepping up from there, when you get above 70 dB, that's when you need to be cautious because you actually can start damaging your hearing. And that sounds crazy, right? Well, things like, a noisy restaurant or even, city traffic when you're inside of your car, a hairdryer, for instance, that's around 85 to 90 dB. Those can all be damaging to your hearing over long periods of time. Now, there is one more site that I want to mention here too, and that is the World Health Organization. There is a section on there that specifically talks about deafness and hearing loss safe listening. Again, this will all be linked down below. So I think anywhere between 80 to 90 dB is what we consider to be, normal listening music volume that we would enjoy and would said to be pretty safe. Now, according to this site that I just told you about, you can listen around 85 dB or so for about 40 hours or 90 dB for about 4 hours to be considered safe. Now, here's the kicker. They are talking per week. Now, that is crazy. And now from there, it can get really scary. 105 dB can be said to be damaging to your hearing by listening longer than even 8 minutes. Now, to get that in some perspective for you guys, 110 dB can be compared to a concert, and up to 120 to like a nightclub or something like that. Now, how many of you go to a concert or a nightclub and put in something like earplugs? Am I right? Probably not. Okay, so I'm not trying to scare anybody, but that brings me to my next point, which is, what can you do? Well, outside of going to an audiologist, I have some things in front of me here that I do think can help you, at least educate you. So let's get into that. So the first thing I have sitting right here is a sound meter. Now, this is actually a brand called Rise Pro. Now, I bought this off of Amazon, I think for around $20. But there are lots of these available on Amazon, different brands, and they range in all different prices. But this is a good place to start. What this does is you turn this on, and basically it is going to actively tell you the decibel level of the room. If you kind of just stand that up in the middle or aim it towards your sound source, as I'm talking here, you're going to see this meter moving. Well, you can actually use something like this on something like headphones. Now, it is not perfect science, and do not quote me on this because this is actually something I learned myself through watching other YouTube videos. and that you can take this device and basically put this inside the cup of a headphone and cover up your hand, use the decibel meter, and it's going to give you at least an idea of how loud you're listening to your music. Now, I think this is very beneficial because even if it's off, say 5 decibels or something, you're going to get a general idea. If it's hitting like 105, it's too loud. If it's hitting like 60, okay, maybe you can turn it up a little bit. And it's going to give you a good sense, like I said, of the volume that you're listening to. And just like muscle memory, I do believe there's also sound memory too, that when you start to listen to that level, you're going to remember that and be like, okay, that's about the loudness that I like to listen to. Now, I would recommend using something like this, and if you're going to keep it, definitely keep it on hand and use it over time, because guys, we get older, our hearing degrades as we get older, so it's not a bad idea to check this every now and then just to see if anything's changed. Again, can't stress enough though, going to an audiologist is still the number one thing to do. And then the next obvious choice would be earplugs, which is what I've got right here. When to use earplugs? Well, if you work outside landscaping, things like that, you definitely want to have some earplugs. If you're, like I said, going to a concert or to a loud club, yeah, people might look at you and be like, look at this wuss walking in here with earplugs. But guys, if you want to protect your hearing, you got to take the right precautions and the right steps. So what am I going to tell you? I would advise you wear earplugs if you're going to go into a loud environment. The next thing that you could do to help yourself is something like bone conduction headphones. Now, these are not an audiophile grade device, but I do have a review on a particular brand that I have right here that I will link down below, so you can kind of look into that technology a little bit. But it's basically a way that you can still enjoy music in a loud environment with some earplugs, and you'll get those vibrations. Or if you're not in a loud environment and you just want to enjoy music without it sticking right on your ears to protect your hearing a little bit, you can do that as well. There are some precautions with bone conduction earphones. So again, like I said, I've got a link if you guys want to watch that video. And then I think the final two obvious choices are things like closed back headphones that isolate noise very well, such as my Focal Radiance. You don't need to go this expensive. It's just an example, as I said. Or something simple like, some good IEMs that are pretty well at being closed back. There's, of course, noise canceling headphones with ANC, all kinds of technology like that. Just be careful, though, as I said, to be aware of your environment when you're going to wear that kind of stuff. Obviously, indoors, perfectly fine. But again, you're not going to be able to use a decibel meter on something as small as an IEM. So you're just going to need to know what your safe listening level is and adjust accordingly from there. Then one more thing I will mention too is there actually is an app. There's a bunch of apps actually, but there's an app out there. It's called Hearing Test. Now I got this for my Android device, so I can't speak to Apple users, but I'm going to guess it would work for that. It's called Hearing Test, like I said, and this has a hearing threshold test, a speech intelligibility test, and it's also got a really nice tool on there that actually lets you calibrate it first, so that you can make sure whatever headphone that you got plugged into it or earphone that you got plugged into it, that it's listening at the right levels and adjusting the different ranges of the frequency response. And it's a great way to test your hearing at home without a specialist, just to kind of get an idea of where you sit at currently with your own hearing health. So definitely something I'd recommend, and I will link that down below. So I personally don't think this topic is discussed enough in any generation. I know my kids, personally, I'm going to make sure that I educate them on hearing health and have their hearing checked and all of that so that they can enjoy audio and music throughout their entire life and listen at safe levels. And yeah, I'm going to be that dad that's probably standing out there going, turn your music down, it's too loud. All right, well, we all live through that at some point, right? So yeah, I care about anybody that's in the audiophile community. Whether you subscribe to this channel or not, I don't care. If you're into audio, these are the things that are the most important before you get to headphones, gear, or anything. So I'm not going to go on a tangent anymore. Just, I hope this video helps some of you. If it did, I would love it if you would smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so, because, I've got more content coming out. I would love to do more things like this if you guys do enjoy this. So, let me know in the comments down below. But in the meantime, take care of your hearing, and I will see you in the next one.